Greetings, YouTube. I'm going to review the Trailblazer set of rules options for the 3.5 setting. This isn't a proper game in itself. It's kind of a revamping of the OGL rules in the way that the authors felt it should be revamped. This is a product really aimed at people who like the 3.5 but aren't necessarily happy with Pathfinder. They're looking for another option. And this is supposed to fill that niche. Now, first off, I'm probably going to have to do this in more than one part. I have to get into a fair amount of detail here. So, hope you don't mind multiple part videos. There's a couple of things off the bat. Firstly, this is an odd-shaped game. Let me come back here so you can see it. It's not a digest, and it's not a full-sized 8.5 by 11 game, which is a size decision I'm really confused about. Because I think it forced them, it's not a thin book, it forced them to make a choice as far as the font is concerned that I found very difficult to read. This is like a 10-point font for the entire text, and it's on grayish white paper, and it's darker at the top of the page, lighter as you go down. I found this very difficult to read, and the charts are gotta be in like an 8-point. I literally could not read some of these charts. I'll tell you what I had to do. I actually had to use this on some of the charts to see what the heck they had written on them, so I could have an idea what the product was giving me. That's not good, and I'm wearing bifocals already. The font was too small. And yes, I keep a magnifying glass on my desk just for such occasions. So they have an overview at the beginning of the book, which covers basically what their book design concept was, and then it goes into more detail as you go through it. I'm going to do the same thing. Alrighty, so here we go. Overall, first level PCs are too vulnerable, and their solution to this is to give a bonus at first level equal to the constitution of the character to hit points. So a first level fighter with a 15 con would get an automatic plus 15 to their hit points, in addition to a die 10 plus 2, which you normally get maximum for 12. So you'd be starting out at first level with 27 hit points. That's a lot of hit points, in my opinion. I don't like this option. I enjoy the fact that first level characters are kind of brittle. They should be. I need to teach them humility. I need to show them that they are not the top of the food chain yet. They need to earn it. I think it helps a player to appreciate the power at even low levels later if they realize at first level they just weren't all that much to begin with. The power curve is too steep, and again, that's why they added the hit points. The 10-minute adventuring day. We have added a new rest mechanic which allows the DM to control the pace of when his players rest. Now, this is essentially creates the mechanism of encounter abilities. Now, classes have always had at-will abilities and limited use abilities. For example, the fighter is one of the ultimate at-will ability because everything the fighter does is at will. He climbs, he swings a sword, he blocks blows with his shield, he fires an arrow. Yes, it isn't particularly flavorful, but it is an at-will ability that he can use all day long, every day. Other classes have abilities based on not just at-will, but uses per day. So a first-level wizard may only get 2 spells. That's the spells they get for that day, and that's their daily abilities. That's the way I like it. The use of an encounter power that renews every time you have an encounter, whether you have 3 encounters in a day, or 5 encounters a day, or 10 encounters in a day. It renews every time they have an encounter, or after the encounter, how you want to look at it. I don't like this. I didn't like it when it was first introduced to 4th edition. I heard it was going to be done. I don't like it here. It is not something I want in my game, and it's a really big component of this book. Okay. Sneak attack. Healing is too difficult. They think it takes too much time of clerics, and the encounter mechanism, encounter powers helps to alleviate that somewhat. And again, I don't like that. Sneak attack doesn't pay off enough. Pay off often enough, and I agree with this. So they have allowed sneak attack to function anytime a rogue catches somebody flat-footed or flanks. Also, there are no blanket immunities to critical hit. So there's no such thing as all undead are immune. There could be specific creatures, for example, ghosts. You can't sneak attack a ghost. It's got no physical form unless you have a magic item that can pull that off. Okay, I kind of like this. It gives the rogue a little more oomph, and I think they deserve it. Turn Undead uses a unique mechanism. You never use it anywhere else, and it's kind of awkward. I agree. They've revamped it, streamlined how Turn Undead works. If you like Turn Undead, this version may be something you're interested in. I don't like Turn Undead. I prefer the Pathfinder concept of channeling energy and hurting undead. You should be slaying undead if you're a good cleric in my book. And I don't let players play evil people. Sorry. So you're going to be playing a character in my game. You're going to be slaying undead, or at least using undead against the baddies if you're neutral. I like this idea of hurting them, not turning them. Making them run away from you to go prey on someone else is not the act of a good person. Wizards have no good options so when they run out of spells. And again, their per encounter power plays into that. I don't like it. Fighters don't keep up with the rest of the classes. I agree. And they've changed the fighter somewhat. I'll get to that later. Weapon proficiencies are too specific. You are correct. I have often thought that martial weapon proficiency should be a blanket proficiency. Just like simple proficiency gives you proficiency in all simple weapons, martial proficiency should give you proficiency in all martial weapons. And that's really hard to say. And that's what they do here. Some classes get boring after 4 or 5 levels, and they've redesigned this. Again, something along the lines of what Pathfinder has done. Familiars are too weak, animal companions are too powerful, and both are just too time-consuming in combat. So, druids and rangers don't get animal companions in this setting, and they've changed how the familiar is used. It becomes essentially a spirit creature that you summon. It hangs around for a few minutes, gives you a bonus, and then it disappears. So when you're not using it, it's literally not there. I like this option. I wouldn't require it, but I like this option. Multi-class spellcasters don't work very well, and the multi-class combinations seem too good. What they've done is to completely and utterly restructure the spell system in the game. Completely. They've changed it to the point where I don't understand why they didn't just say, okay, we're tossing it, and we're going to use the spell point system from expanded Psionic Handbook. Because that would have made more sense. It's already in the game. You wouldn't have to adopt any new mechanics. You would have been good to go. I don't like what they did with the spell system, flat out. It's so different, and it would take so much work for me to adapt to it that I'm just not happy. So, first part of the video ends here.